Welcome to the action. We start with Lando Norris delivering his verdict on the 2026 F1 rules changes. Lando Norris has spoken out, stating that while the modifications are a step in the right direction, he is absolutely clear that drivers are quick to find faults, and he emphasizes that there are still specific areas that require improvement moving forward. We dive into exactly what Norris thinks about the progress being made in the sport right now.
Here's a simple way to protect your phone without stress. This ALAN 3-pack comes with tempered glass screen protectors, camera lens protectors, and an installation frame for an easier, cleaner fit. It's clear, case-friendly, and built to help guard against scratches and everyday bumps. Check the link in the comments to get it on Amazon.
Next up, we look at the incredible performance of Lando Norris himself. Lando Norris eased to a sensational victory in the Miami Grand Prix sprint, claiming his very first win of the season. He took pole position and maintained a commanding lead, proving that the upgrades brought by the McLaren team have paid off spectacularly for him on the track. Find out how Norris managed to pull off this huge win and what this means for his season. Now we switch gears to the full sprint race results from Miami. Lando Norris led the entire sprint from start to finish, putting on a masterclass performance to secure the win ahead of Oscar Piastri and Charles Leclerc. We break down the intense battles that took place behind the leaders, including the wheel-to-wheel action between George Russell and Kimi Antonelli, and the close fight between Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen. Finally, we examine the reality check facing McLaren at the Miami Grand Prix. Despite the sprint win, Lando Norris admitted that both McLaren cars struggled more than the day before in qualifying, and the team was surprised by how quickly they performed. We discuss the variable performance of Oscar Piastri and the challenge McLaren faces in staying ahead of the Mercedes dominance, and we'll see what it takes for Norris and Piastri to convert these starting positions into podiums or race wins. Stay with us. Lando Norris has offered his assessment on the recent modifications to the 2026 Formula One car regulations, acknowledging progress while highlighting areas needing further refinement. Norris stated that while the changes represent a step in the right direction, he noted that drivers are naturally quick to identify shortcomings. Several drivers had expressed dissatisfaction with the 2026 cars during the opening 3 events before the changes were implemented ahead of the Miami Grand Prix. Drivers experienced the modifications for the first time during qualifying trim on Friday, when the grid for the sprint race was set. Norris confirmed that some issues persist. Some things remain as expected, he told media, including Channel YouTube. There are still certain points where the quicker you go, the more penalized you get. In the future, that's something we want to fix as drivers. You just want to be going flat out everywhere and maximizing things. You don't want to go quicker somewhere on a qualifying lap and get penalized for it. That's just not how it should be. However, Norris concluded that the changes are moving in the correct direction. But it seems in the correct direction, and I think we're more likely to see a bigger benefit of it in other tracks. As drivers, you're always going to see us complain a bit, because that's what we always do, but at the same time, I think it's a step forward. In race trim for the first time during the sprint race, Norris secured a victory. The reigning champion conceded that the impact of the changes is less apparent in race conditions. He noted, "It's got better for the majority of the laps in qualifying. You could push, and you're not really thinking, I need a lift here earlier, or I need to not get on throttle as much. It felt a little bit more normal. That was a nice thing." He added that while the sprint race saw little change other than aspects like the super clips, otherwise, a step in the right direction is as much as we can really ask for at the minute. The rest of it really has to come, maybe later in the year, but also into the future years. Lando Norris secured a vital first victory of the season at the Miami Grand Prix sprint, taking the checkered flag nearly 4 seconds ahead of teammate Oscar Piastri. The world champion started from pole position and maintained a commanding lead throughout the race. In contrast, championship leader Kimi Antonelli experienced a challenging start, finishing 4th before incurring a 5-second penalty for track limits, resulting in a 6th-place finish. This penalty reduced Antonelli's early lead in the standings by 7 points, placing him 2 positions behind Mercedes teammate George Russell. Norris now trails the leader, Antonelli, by 42 points. having missed the Chinese Grand Prix due to a mechanical issue. The race saw intense action among the frontrunners, with Max Verstappen and Lewis Hamilton battling for positions, finishing 6th and 7th respectively, with Verstappen gaining 1 place due to Antonelli's penalty. Norris expressed satisfaction with the result, highlighting the team's upgrades and a smooth start to the weekend. The McLaren team has successfully challenged Mercedes' dominance this season, with Norris's sprint pole position marking a significant step forward. Antonelli's performance was criticized by Leclerc, who described him as bad wheel-to-wheel, though the Italian driver acknowledged past tensions with the Ferrari team. Lando Norris secured a dominant victory in the sprint race at the Miami Grand Prix, demonstrating exceptional composure throughout the event. Norris led the entire race from start to finish, successfully edging out Oscar Piastri in 2nd place and Charles Leclerc in 3rd. The grid featured varied tire strategies, with most drivers on medium tires, save for Cadillac cars on hard tires and Aston Martins on softs seeking better initial grip. Early issues impacted the field, as Nico Hülkenberg was unable to start due to an engine problem on the warm-up lap, and Arvid Lindblad was also unable to participate following a technical issue detected by Red Bull. The start saw Norris launch brilliantly from pole position, maintaining the lead through the first corner. Oscar Piastri responded immediately, securing 2nd place and setting up a strong McLaren front row. Charles Leclerc also managed to move ahead of Kimi Antonelli, who struggled with a less-than-ideal start and dropped from 2nd to 4th. The opening laps were characterized by intense battles, notably between George Russell and Kimi Antonelli, who traded positions in a tight contest. Simultaneously, Lewis Hamilton and Max Verstappen engaged in a fierce wheel-to-wheel battle, exchanging places during a close exchange. As the race progressed, the pace settled, with Norris establishing a strong rhythm and building a gap to Piastri, while Leclerc attempted to close the gap to 2nd, narrowly missing an opportunity. In the final stages, the competition remained largely controlled, with Norris maintaining a safe lead. Following 19 laps, Lando Norris crossed the line to claim the sprint victory and the full 8 points. Oscar Piastri finished 2nd, earning 7 points for McLaren. Charles Leclerc took 3rd, while Kimi Antonelli initially finished 4th but was penalized 5 seconds for track limits, dropping him to 6th. This penalty promoted George Russell to 4th and Max Verstappen to 5th. Lewis Hamilton finished 7th, and Pierre Gasly claimed the final point for 8th place. McLaren's celebratory mood at the Miami Grand Prix was quickly tempered by a challenging qualifying session, signaling a reality check for the team. While McLaren secured the first non-Mercedes race win in any format since the start of the 2026 season, the subsequent qualifying results revealed significant hurdles ahead. Reigning world champion Lando Norris and his teammate Oscar Piastri faced difficulties, with Norris noting that both cars struggled more than yesterday. McLaren achieved a significant milestone on Friday's sprint qualifying by becoming the first non-Mercedes team to secure pole position in any format. Furthermore, the team managed to outperform their engine supplier, Mercedes, for the first time this season. Norris expressed surprise at the pace displayed, suggesting that the reigning World Constructors' champions were not anticipating such a strong front-running performance. Despite deploying an extensive upgrade package similar to the 2024 iteration, Mercedes remained a challenging benchmark. Piastri's qualifying session was less successful, with him starting 7th in tomorrow's Grand Prix. Discussing the volatility of the performance, Piastri attributed the variance to several factors, including sudden shifts in wind. He also described the qualifying hour as not the smoothest, noting that his progress into Q2 was achieved by the smallest margins, and his final run in Q3 was described as all a bit random. Shifting focus to the weather, while many competitors are eyeing opportunities in forecasted wet conditions, Piastri adopted a pragmatic stance, stating that no one knows what they're going to do. Although 2026 regulations include new guidelines for wet weather racing, there has been no practice in the rain yet this year. Despite the clear progress made by the walking-based team's upgrade package, both Norris and Piastri face the task of converting their starting positions into podium finishes or race wins. The immediate focus now shifts to maximizing performance in the upcoming race.